Welcome to our channel, ladies and gentlemen. I hope you had a wonderful Mashujaa day. But let me ask you a question. We dedicated this day to celebrate our heroes. That is why schools were closed today. Government employees did not go to work because we wanted to celebrate. Do you have anything to smile about? Is there anything that makes you proud as a Kenyan on this Mashujaa day? That's the question I have for you. But have you seen this message from Martha Karua to Kenyans on this very special day? On her Twitter handle, this is the message that Martha Karua sent to all Kenyans, both in Kenya and those who are in the diaspora. And she says, Mambo ni Matatu Nukta Mbili, in bracket 3.2. Ya kwanza, baraka kwa wale wote wamejitolea kuikomboa nchi yetu kwa hali na mali. Ya pili, nchi imepoteza mwelekeo na ni jukumu la wote wenye nia njema kuirudisha kwa reli. La tatu, wanaoumia kwa sasa ni wengi zaidi katika nchi yetu. Nje tutaharakisha vipi mradi wa kujiokoa? Nukta mbili ni jibu lako. Kuwa na jioni njema. Kiswahili imekuwa ngumu kidogo hapo. But then that is the message from Martha Karua. Now, for those who might not be very well conversant with the messaging, in a nutshell, Martha Karua is saying that there are only three things, and in fact, she's saying there are 3.2 things to talk about. The first one, she's saying that she wishes all Kenyans of goodwill who have come out to volunteer to assist our nation. And the second one, she's saying that the country has lost track and it is our responsibility as Kenyans to get it back. And she's saying to the railway that the country is like a train that has lost track, and she's saying that it is our responsibility to get it back. And she's saying that how will we move with speed to ensure that we emancipate ourselves because the country has lost its track. And she said that there are 3.2. So the 0.2 that is remaining, she's saying it is you to answer that question. Without much ado, ladies and gentlemen, Martha Karua is borrowing from the phrase Mambo ni Matatu. And you all know by now that William Ruto made it a trademark. That moving forward, if you want to use that phrase, then you must seek for permission from William Ruto. And as a lawyer, Martha knows very well that if she had said Mambo ni Matatu, then the Kenya Kwanza team would be up in arms with her to explain why she's going against this, while Ruto had made it a trademark, I think, in a court of justice. And that's why she's saying this. And you will know that this is meant to either provoke William Ruto or to mock. It is a mockery to the president. Because you know that today, while William Ruto was officiating over this auspicious day in Kericho, she outlined things that he has achieved ever since he took oath of office. And I think this is the reason why, strategically, the president decided to sign the health bill, the NHIF and all the three categories yesterday, knowing very well that it coincided with today's Mashujaa day. And he really outlined all these things, you know, praising the government and what they have done. But Martha Karua is reading from a different page. And she is saying that the country has lost track. And she's reminding Kenyans that it is our responsibility. Don't expect anyone from outside to come and help us liberate our country. Do you think Martha is right? When you look at our country, politically, economically, do you think we are on the right track? Because if you ask me, I will totally agree with Madam Martha Karua that we have lost track. And she's saying that it is you and I who must work hard to liberate ourselves, must work hard to ensure that we compel the government to ensure that all the promises that they give to Kenyans are realized. Otherwise, the country is going to get further away from the track. But she's also saying something that we not only need to liberate ourselves, but we need to move with speed. Because from the angle that she's looking at our country, I think her heart is bleeding, because we have, the rate of unemployment is just increasing every day. The prices of basic commodities are really skyrocketing. Generally, the cost of living is just too high, courtesy of the taxes that the government has really imposed on most of things, especially the fuel products. And with all the promises that were given during the campaigns, and the Kenya Kwanza team was only but hoodwinking Kenyans because we are gullible. And I think this is a reminder that we should stop to be very gullible, so that we are not, we just don't swallow every kind of promise that we are given by politicians when they are campaigning. Kenyans are very wise. And the reason I'm saying this is because I'm reminded of the Mavoko demolitions that are going on. And they're reminding the president that internet does not lie. I have seen videos being retrieved when William Ruto was promising Kenyans that in his regime, he will not demolish structures. And he promised that he would sit down with the victims whenever there is any controversy around any land, that people will sit down, all the stakeholders, the government, those who have already built on that structure, those who are claiming it, so that people can have an amicable solution. Only to turn around, make a U-turn, and really send police officers to stand by as demolitions were going on. And these are the kind of things that the Azimio leader is reminding Kenyans about. What do you think about our country? Because the Kenya Kwanza team, the bloggers will start, we will begin an onslaught against Martha Karua, that she's bitter. But the truth is, Kenya is in turmoil, and we really need to get it back on track as fast as possible. Remember, Martha Karua once said that she will never recognize the authority and the legitimacy of President William Samoei Ruto. And this tweet is meant to remind William Ruto that he is in office illegally, according to Martha Karua. In fact, she adds that it is only the Constitution that recognizes William Ruto as the president, as the head of state, the head of government, and the commander-in-chief of all the armed forces. But according to her, and I think this has been the position of the Azimio fraternity. Of course, of late, I've seen Raila Amolo Odinga and some of the Azimio leaders recognize William Ruto as the president. I don't know whether they recognize him as the Constitution demands, or they have now accepted that William Ruto is the president, and they do the checkmating. Because according to Martha, she only recognizes him as much as the Constitution. But Martha is one person who still believes that their votes were stolen, and she does not recognize the legitimacy of President William Samoei Ruto. But then she says, happy Mashujaa Day from wherever you are. As we celebrate, remember that it is you and I who must work hard to liberate our country. In the words of Martin Luther King Jr., we shall overcome. Because if you don't have the attitude that we shall one day overcome, then we are lost. I remember sometimes back, Raila Amolo Odinga kept on telling Kenyans that Kenyans needed to rise up for them to kick away the colonial masters. With the crude weapons, when the colonial masters had sophisticated weapons like pistols and guns, but they rose up with one attitude, and a strong attitude, a united attitude, that we must liberate our country. And in the second liberation, when people were fighting the one-party state, Nyayo, Kenyans had to go for unlicensed rallies, and they had to meet the police brutality. They had to wake up in the morning singing and marching, exposing themselves and bracing themselves for tear gas. But finally, the former president and the late president Daniel Moi accepted to repeal that section, and we were back to multi-party democracy. Haikuji raisi, people have to fight. And I think that is the message that the opposition leaders are trying to give to Kenyans, that we must not sit back and watch things escalating beyond where they are. People have to fight. I don't know what to think, but that is my take.